Good? Everyone good? Councillors, I'll open the meeting with the acknowledgement of country. Richmond Valley Council recognises the people of the Bundjalung Nations as custodians and traditional owners of this land, and we value and appreciate the continuing culture connections to lands, their living culture and the unique role in the life of this region in the past, present and future. Mr General Manager, could you read the prayer, please?
Dear Lord, we meet to serve our Richmond Valley community, to use our resources wisely and well, to represent all members of our community fairly, and to make decisions that promote the common good. We recognise our responsibility to the past and the future, and the rights and needs of both individuals and community. As trusted servants, we seek blessings on our deliberations and on our efforts here today. May we act wisely and well. Amen.
Amen. Councillors, that brings us to item 3, public access and question time. There's been no requests, apology and applications for leave of absence or attendance by audio-visual link by councillors. Council, I'll move that we have an apology received from Councillor Steve Morrissey be accepted and leave of absence be granted, and 2, that Council approves Councillor Lyndall Murray's attendance by an audio-visual link at the 21st of July ordinary meeting due to personal commitments, meaning she is absent from the area. I'll move that. Can I get a seconder, please?
Yeah, I'll second.
Councillor Hayes. Any discussion? Put that motion then. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Mayoral minutes, there is no mayoral minute, councillors, but I'd like to just mention that this evening sees the last meeting of one of our valued staff members, Chief of Staff, Ms Hazelwood, and I'd just like to recognise her contribution she's given us to around 6 years, I believe, and we're sorry to see you go, but do wish you all the best for your future, and you've been a treasured employee and contributed a lot to the Richmond Valley Council and our community, so thank you very much for your efforts. Mr General Manager, as a staff.
Oh, look, I'd just like to echo your comments, Mr Mayor. Yeah, Ms Hazelwood has contributed significantly to our work since joining us just as COVID hit in April 2020. So yeah, joined us in that challenging period, and obviously contributed significantly initially as our leader strategy, and then sort of developed the role into the Chief of Staff. So I'd just like to thank Ms Hazelwood for her contribution on behalf of all of our staff. A big part of what's been achieved is developing our people and our teams, as well as our strategic approach. So thank you, and yeah, we too wish you all the best in your next venture.
Any other councillors like to say anything? No? Thanks again. And Councillor Murray, apologies for not saying welcome to the meeting. I hope everything's going all right where you are.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Hopefully my Wi-Fi is holding up.
Page 6. Item 6, confirmation of the minutes. Could I get a mover for the accuracy of the minutes from the 30th of June 2026 meeting, please? Councillor Cornish, and a seconder.
Second.
Councillor Humphries. Has any councillor got any queries about the accuracy? Put that motion then. All those in favour? Carried. Item 7, matters arising out of the minutes. Any matters? No, we'll move on. Declarations of interest. Has any councillors got any? Mr General Manager, have you received any?
No, I haven't.
Petitions, nil. Notice of motions, nil. We'll go over the page to page 8, and I'll move the Mayoral's report. Could I get a seconder, please?
Second.
Councillor Humphries. Any questions or business arising out of that? I'm really missing Councillor Morrissey tonight. I'll put that motion then. All those in favour? Carried. delegates report, they're on page 9. There is one delegates report from Rouse County Council for July the 2026 meeting. Can I get a mover, please?
Move that recommendation.
Thank you, and I'll second it. Any questions arising out of that report? It's been distributed. If not, I'll put that motion in. All those in favour? Unanimous. Matters determined without debate on page 13. Does any councillors have any items they'd like to call?
Yeah, I'll call 16.2.
Any other items? Councillors, I'll call the 14.2. And the other one's called any other? No? So, Mr General Manager, I believe we need a motion for 14.1, 15.1, 16.1, 18.1, 18.2. Is that correct? Could I get a move of that, please?
Move that way.
Councillor Humphrey, second. Councillor Cornish. I'll put that motion. Unanimous. So that takes us, I think, to 14.2. Councillors, first I want to change the motion to point 3, where we include continues to work with National Emergency Management and then NMEA, please, and the New South Wales Reconstruction Authority. I think they need to be included there because they're a part of the process. Seconder?
Second.
Councillor Humphreys. Councillors, as councillors are aware, as staff, that we had a briefing yesterday from CSIRO, RA and NEMA staff that are in our area. They're going around and doing community consultation and advising the community of what they found and question and answers. I found it very interesting yesterday. The report to me is what I really like about it. It's written in pretty plain English that I think comes across very well. This is only the first stage that's been done now. They will now go, and there's $3 million allocated, 2 from the state government and 1 from the federal government for a further study, which is part 3, to support the next stage of the options review process. So I think there's a bit of community concern out there. There is also support to try to lower the flood level in the downstream areas. And as we know, Corroki, Woodburn, Broadwater, the lower river, really copped it bad down there, as bad as any other areas in the Richmond. So I think sometimes that is overlooked. Yeah, I support the motion, and we look further into what can happen out of these proposals. I think it would be just, without getting the future study and the actual facts, and the science has been done, but we need it now to look at the next stage. And I think with that amount of money that's been spent, it would not be a good look or wise just to not move on with what some sections of our community are saying should happen, but I can't agree with that. Our seconder.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yes, talking about the CSIRO report, science-based, and that's certainly something that you can't just ignore. But I do also agree that it with this further investigation, that it will determine whether the options are feasible and whether the benefits outweigh the costs and the risks involved. And certainly our communities are out there, they know what they need, and they will be in touch over the next short while to let us know. I know that there was a community consultation session this afternoon, and I'm really sorry that I wasn't able to make it to that. I actually got a lot out of this CSIRO and NEMA, the NEMA and presentation last night, to see how they've modelled it, and to see how you're able to now see how the detention infrastructure holds the water. You could actually see the red, and then you'd watch it as they opened, you'd watch it all flow away. And the fact that the way that they determine that, or the way that they hold the water back, you can see that it stays within the flow of the river. I just hope that everyone wants to understand how they work as well, and understand that they are retention basins, and they're not dams. And I think that that's causing quite a bit of confusion in our area as well. But there's also, and I understand why Lismore Mayor has supported it. Him and his council have supported the findings, because of 2 metres to be found, to lose 2 metres in Lismore and their area. Well, that's incredible. Under all, I think there was only one of the years that the bundle said that it would still overtop the levy. So that, why wouldn't they be supportive? But for other areas that the difference is different, we need to be mindful of that. There's another area in the report here, and it was following after the steps in the flood assessment, the next steps, but it's around the developing the regional disaster adaptation plan. Through you, Mr Mayor, I'd just like to ask the General Manager, we talk about the comprehensive review of infrastructure in all the 7 local government areas, and where they looked at the identified regional significant facilities, and the casino aerodrome is mentioned there as playing a regional, plays a really important role in regional disaster response, particularly around the bushfire, and would need to ensure ongoing investment in upgrading that facility. Could I have a comment about that? Thanks.
Mr General Manager.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Councillor Humphries. Look, it's actually Ms Hazelwood's been leading our sort of liaison as part of the development of the DAP, so I'll be stepping into that space. Not that I've obviously been involved, as we've been involved with RA and recovery for the last 4 years. But the aim of the DAP is, as it sounds, it's disaster adaptation. It's about improving our resilience for what may come next, and I suppose in the valley, the key examples of that are the Tatham Bridges and Dairy Flat and Thurles Canal, examples of what has actually happened. But as part of the what they're calling the Foundation DAP, which will come out later this year, we understand that there'll be some funding attached with that. So we've had the opportunity to put forward projects where we can put a case forward that's building resilience for any future disaster events, and the casino aerodrome clearly has an important role to play in emergency response, has the region's RFS headquarters there. So the tarmac is in need of an upgrade. We've identified that could be done for in the vicinity of $3.5 million, and so it's one of the number of projects that we have put forward as part of that, or will be putting forward as part of that project. So. Yeah, it's an important piece. So it's related. The DAP work is related, but obviously this CSIRO flood report are the big ticket items if we are to reduce the height of future floods.
Thanks very much.
Any other speakers? No? Councillors, just one comment I will make, that it does say in the report that, where am I? A lot of questions are being asked about why wasn't the work that's going to be done already done, and it quite clearly says in there that in the future these reports will be done for what the materials will be used, how high they'll be, structural design, engineering certification. But and then the report from Council on page 19, this work is expected to take at least another year. It will include consideration of feasibility studies prepared in response to the CSIRO work. So I think some people think it's just going to happen tomorrow, or the decision will be made whether to go through it tomorrow. This is going to take a long time, and if the work goes ahead, there'll be a large amount of funding needed, and I can't see anything really happening if it goes ahead for many, many years. So if anyone thinks that if the flood comes again, it's not going to happen the house isn't going to flood in the next year or two, that's not going to be the case. It will take a while. And also, originally there was going to be only studies done on 2017 and the two floods in 2022. Council pushed for 2008 to be included because the Richmond arm of the river copped it really bad in 2008, where the Wilson didn't, and then the Wilson got it in 2017 and the Richmond didn't. So I'm pleased to see that they actually brought the 2008 study into it at Council's request. So if there's nothing further to be said, I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Carried. I think we're 16.2. 16.2 on page 28, and I believe Councillor Hayes.
Yeah, I just want to move the recommendation as written.
And a seconder, please.
Yeah, second.
Councillor Cornish. Councillor Hayes.
Yeah, look, these amendments are just the start of the update of the DCP, which, in my view, needs doing. And look, if it can be done and completed within our term of council, that'd be great. So, you know, if we don't go again, we can leave the DCP in good stead for the community in the future. So I think this is the start of it. And once we get our flood risk management plan and all that information fed into the LEP and back through the DCP, we'll have a lot better document to work with. So I think this is just the start of it. There's some good changes in here that needed tidying up, and we'll move forward with it. And hopefully in 2 years' time we have a really good DCP to work with.
Thank you. Councillor Cornish. No other councillors? Put that motion in. All those in favour? Carried. Councillor Murray, if you're putting your hand up at all, or you want to speak, just, and I miss you. If I miss you, just sing out.
No, I'm here and listening. My Wi-Fi is a little bit difficult, but I'm following along. I'll let you know if I have something to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Page 42, item 19, matters for information. Can I get a mover, please?
Yeah, I'll move.
Councillor Hayes.
Second.
Councillor Humphries seconding. Councillor Hayes. Councillor Humphries.
No, thank you.
Any other councillor? Councillors, I'd just like to mention page 43, 42, Richmond Valley Economic Development Strategy, Year 1 update, and also on page 49, the customer service report. I think when you read those, it just shows the efforts that our staff are putting in, and they're really good reports that our community is benefited by. So I just wanted to note that they're positive, and there's things happening, and the staff providing a good service to our community. So I just want you to acknowledge that, please, Mr. General Manager. Any other speakers? Councillor Hayes, Councillor Humphries, you're right.
I just had a question. Sorry, I missed it there. On page 57, I just noticed the graph on the CRMs fell quite significantly from 2025 to now. Is there, could I have a comment on that, thanks? Is there, I mean, it's great, or is it like?
Oh, look, it will fluctuate. I mean, it's fluctuated by, say, in the range of to 10% reduction, which it does. It will fluctuate a bit. Sometimes it depends on what happens in a period. Often your customer requests. So, as an example, when we had Cyclone Alfred, which I'm thinking it was in the 25 year. When you have a natural disaster, your CRMs skyrocket because there's a lot going on, a lot of reporting, a lot of things happening. So I know the same trend occurs with our social media. So our social media gets a lot of traffic when there's leading up to a natural disaster and after. And Cyclone Alfred had that real impact, which was around March last year, off the top of my head. Is that correct?
I know it was
March
early,
25, so it would have been in 25. So it's probably contributed to that boost for the 25 year, and so we haven't had one in this reporting year, so that's where it's dropped back a bit. Same sort of thing can apply to our sort of social media traffic because people do rely on our Facebook for those sorts of notifications. So CRMs will fluctuate. Obviously, it's less volume of activity for our teams to respond to, but generally the natural disaster stuff is probably one example of an impact on those numbers.
And I apologise for that because I did read something about Cyclone Alfred earlier somewhere in the report, and I perhaps should have put two and two together. But one comment that you did make is, isn't it good that the community is going to our Facebook page to look for important information?
Our Facebook, we've got in excess now of, I think it's over 12,000 followers, and some of our social media stats have really picked up in the last sort of 6 to 12 months, especially with our Discover Richmond Valley. A lot of effort's gone into that. If you're on that connection, it's got a lot of drone footage now. Another one of our team members is able to do that. That work. We're actually getting some AI support with some of those, the imagery and the voiceovers and the like that are going out with our social media. So that's not to deny the great work that Adam does and Kath, who's joined the comms team. So that's certainly an area that we've been working on. It's certainly something that as councillors you've raised is that tourism promotion, and we're pushing to increase the numbers and boost traffic.
Well done to everyone, and thank you for that.
Councillors, on page 47, 1, 2, 3, about the fifth dot down, casino pedestrian suspension bridge has seen a significant increase in visitation, with visitors walking over the bridge, and the nearby casino art gallery has seen a significant increase in its visitation. I was actually in one of the supermarkets the other day, and a gentleman from the art gallery pulled me up and said, Robert, that pedestrian bridge, there's always someone on it. Nearly when I drive past, there's someone on it. But he said in the art gallery on a Saturday, he said the last Saturday they had 42 or 45 visitors. And I said, well, what do you usually get? He said, I've sat there for an afternoon and got 2. He said, so they're coming off the bridge and seeing open, they're coming from out of town. Oh, we didn't know there was a gallery here, and they're going into it. So it is bringing people to our community, and you'll see a lot of people coming from the rail trail now riding down to that. So it's a bit of an iconic thing for our area. The other thing I'd like to poke, page 70 and 71 is the total dollar amount for development applications. It's up over the last, except for last year, the previous years before that, the 3 years before that. And it could be said that that's because the price of materials and labour have gone up. But then if you go down to page 71, the total applications lodged have been higher than the last two. So it looks like there is a bit of development happening, and I'm pleased to turn the page and see that the average assessment days for application term are around 27 days. So I note the Minister has now got most councillors on 90 or 95 days, I think it is, something like that.
The DA, the complex DAs.
So, you know, I think we're going all right with that. Any other speakers? Councillor Hayes, right to reply? I'll put that motion then. All those in favour? Carried. Councillors, we're now over on page 78. Questions on notices nil. Questions for the next meeting in writing. Has any councillor got any questions for the next meeting in writing? No. Matters deferred to closed council. There is none. So, councillors, that brings us into the meeting. Thank you for your attendance. Thank you, Councillor Murray. And,
Thank you.
And I will, before I close, once again, Jenna, thank you very, very much. It's, your wisdom has been very valuable to me since you've been here. So thank you. I will now close the meeting.